Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah. We bow to you, beloved Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, the patron of new beginnings, the one whose very name dissolves all difficulties. Welcome, dear souls, to this sacred journey through the prayers of Lord Ganesha. In the vast pantheon of Hindu deities, there is perhaps no god more universally beloved than Ganesha. He is the elephant-headed son of Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati, the one who sits at the doorway of every temple. The divine presence invoked before every ritual, every ceremony, every new venture in life. Why do we turn to Ganesha first? Because he is Vignaharta, the destroyer of obstacles. He is also Vignakarta, the creator of obstacles for those who walk unrighteous paths. In his gentle, compassionate form, we see the perfect balance of wisdom and strength, of playfulness and profound spiritual power. Tonight, we begin our devotional exploration with the most sacred of all Ganesha mantras, the great invocation that echoes through every Hindu home, every temple, every sacred gathering. This is the Vakratunda mantra. 4 simple words that contain within them the entire cosmic presence of Lord Ganesha. Let us first hear this beautiful invocation in its complete form. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha. Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarv Karyeshu Sarvada. These 16 Sanskrit syllables carry the devotional yearning of millions. They have been chanted by sages in forest ashrams, by mothers preparing the morning meal, by students before examinations, by merchants opening their shops at dawn. The origin of this mantra is ancient, lost in the mists of time. Some scholars trace its roots to the Ganpati Upanishad. Others find echoes in the Puranic literature. What we know with certainty is this: for over 1,000 years, these words have opened a doorway between the human heart and divine grace. Let us now dive deep into each sacred word. Each syllable contains layers of meaning. Like looking into a perfectly cut gem, every angle reveals new light. Vakratunda. Vakra means curved, bent, or twisted. Tunda means trunk. Here we invoke Ganesha by his most distinctive physical feature, his magnificent curved elephant trunk. But this is far more than mere description. The curved trunk represents the divine capacity to reach into every corner of existence, to bend and adapt, to be flexible in the face of life's challenges. Watch an elephant use its trunk. See how it can lift a massive log, then delicately pick up a single grain of rice. This is the wisdom Ganesha offers us. Great strength combined with ultimate precision. The ability to handle both the enormous and the tiny with equal skill. The curved shape also symbolizes the sacred sound Om. If you trace the curve of Ganesha's trunk, you will see the visual form of this most holy syllable. In calling him Vakratunda, we are invoking the very essence of cosmic sound, the primordial vibration from which all creation emerges. Mahakaya. Maha means great, vast, magnificent. Kaya means body or form. Together, Mahakaya celebrates Ganesha's large, powerful physical presence. His belly is round and full. His form is substantial, commanding. This is not the body of an ascetic who has renounced the world. This is the form of one who embraces all of life with joy. The large belly of Ganesha teaches us profound wisdom. It represents the capacity to digest all experiences, sweet and bitter alike, success and failure, joy and sorrow. A true devotee of Ganesha learns to have a large heart, to contain multitudes without being disturbed. In many Puranic stories, we read how Ganesha's belly contains entire universes. Once, when he was riding his mouse vehicle, the mouse stumbled. Ganesha fell, and his belly burst open. Out poured all the sweets he had been eating. But also stars, planets, and galaxies. The cosmic secret hidden in this playful image is clear. The divine presence is not separate from the physical world. The sacred lives within matter itself. Suryakoti Samaprabha. Now we come to the most magnificent phrase in this mantra. Surya means sun. Koti means 10 million. Sama means equal to. Prabha means brilliance or radiance. Together, this phrase declares that Ganesha's spiritual radiance equals that of 10 million suns. Imagine, if you can, the light of our sun. The source of all life on earth. The brilliant orb that makes day possible. Now multiply that radiance by 10 million. This is the inner luminosity of Lord Ganesha. Not the light that illuminates objects, but the light of pure consciousness itself. This phrase appears in many Hindu scriptures when describing divine beings. It is used for Vishnu in the Bhagavad Gita, for Shiva in the Shiva Purana, for Devi in the Chandi Path. When applied to Ganesha, it reveals something profound. Despite his playful, accessible nature, he possesses the full cosmic radiance of supreme divinity. In practical terms, this line teaches us about the transformative power of devotion to Ganesha. When we truly connect with his presence, our own inner light begins to shine. Obstacles don't just disappear externally. The very darkness of ignorance that creates obstacles is burned away by divine illumination. The complete first line of the mantra thus becomes a perfect encapsulation of Ganesha's nature. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha. O Lord with the curved trunk and mighty form, whose radiance equals 10 million suns. But the mantra does not stop with praise. It moves into petition, into the heartfelt request that forms the core of all prayer. Nirvikhnam kuru me deva. Nir means without. Vikhna means obstacles. Kuru means please do or please make. Me means to me. Deva means divine Lord. The phrase translates as, please make me free from obstacles, or divine one. But what are these obstacles we seek to remove? The grossest understanding points to external hindrances. Traffic jams when we are late for work. Computer crashes during important presentations. Arguments with family members. Illness. Financial difficulties. These surface obstacles are real, and Ganesha's grace certainly helps with them. However, the deeper obstacles are internal. The elephant-headed Lord specializes in removing the barriers we create within our own minds. Fear that prevents us from pursuing our dreams. Anger that destroys our relationships. Pride that blinds us to truth. Laziness that keeps us from spiritual practice. These psychological obstacles are the real enemies of human happiness. The deepest obstacle of all is avidya, spiritual ignorance. The fundamental misunderstanding about who we really are. We think we are small, separate, limited beings. Ganesha's grace helps us realize our true nature. Infinite consciousness temporarily wearing a human form. Sarv Karyeshu Sarvada. The mantra concludes with a comprehensive request. Sarv means all. Karya means works, activities, or endeavors. Ishu is the locative ending meaning in. Sarvada means always, at all times. We are asking Ganesha to remove obstacles from all our activities, always. Not just in spiritual practices. Not just in important moments. But in every single thing we do, throughout all time. This final phrase reveals something beautiful about Hindu spirituality. There is no separation between sacred and secular activities. Cooking dinner can be as holy as performing ritual worship. Going to work can be as devotional as chanting in a temple. Ganesha's presence is requested for everything because everything is an opportunity for spiritual growth. Now, why is Ganesha worshipped first, before all other deities? The most beloved story comes from the Puranas. Once, Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati announced a contest between their two sons. Ganesha and Kartikeya would race around the entire universe. Whoever completed the circuit first would be declared the winner and receive a special blessing. Kartikeya immediately mounted his vehicle, the peacock, and soared off into space. His plan was to fly to the farthest reaches of creation and circle back. It was a logical strategy. Kartikeya was young, strong, and his peacock was swift. Ganesha, meanwhile, sat quietly for a moment. His vehicle was a tiny mouse. How could he possibly compete with his brother's speed and aerial advantages? Then, with the wisdom that characterized all his actions, Ganesha stood up. He walked slowly around his parents, Shiva and Parvati. He circumambulated them 3 times with deep reverence. When his parents asked what he was doing, Ganesha replied with profound insight. My parents are my entire universe. You too contain all of creation within yourselves. By walking around you with devotion, I have indeed circled the entire cosmos. Shiva and Parvati were delighted by their son's wisdom. When Kartikeya returned from his cosmic journey, he found that Ganesha had already been declared the winner. The elephant-headed lord had understood a spiritual truth that escaped his brother. The divine presence is not somewhere far away. It dwells in what is closest and most sacred to us. As a result of this victory, Ganesha received the blessing that he would be worshipped first in all Hindu rituals. Before approaching any other deity, devotees must first honor the remover of obstacles. This is why every Hindu prayer session, every temple visit, every religious ceremony begins with Ganesha. Let us now understand the profound symbolism contained in Ganesha's distinctive form. Every aspect of his appearance carries layers of meaning that guide us towards spiritual wisdom. The elephant head represents Buddhi, supreme intelligence. Not mere cleverness or academic learning, but the deeper wisdom that sees through illusion to truth. Elephants are known for their incredible memories. They can recall events from decades ago. Similarly, Ganesha's consciousness contains the memory of all spiritual truths, all the wisdom needed for enlightenment. His large ears teach us the importance of listening. In our noisy world, we have forgotten how to truly hear. Ganesha's ears remind us to listen deeply to the words of our teachers, to the subtle guidance of our inner voice, to the messages the universe constantly sends us through circumstances and encounters. Notice that Ganesha's eyes are relatively small compared to his ears. This teaches us to listen more than we look, to pay attention to the subtle rather than being distracted by surface appearances. Spiritual truth is more often heard in silence than seen in the external world. Ganesha has only one complete tusk. The other is broken. This asymmetry contains profound teaching about sacrifice for a higher purpose. The most popular story tells us that Ganesha broke his own tusk to use as a writing instrument. When the sage Vyas was dictating the Mahabharata, his usual writing reed broke. Without hesitation, Ganesha snapped off his own tusk to continue recording this sacred epic. The broken tusk reminds us that spiritual growth sometimes requires sacrifice. We may need to give up old habits that no longer serve us, release attachments that bind us, break away from patterns that keep us small. The path to enlightenment is not always comfortable, but it is always worthwhile. Perhaps the most surprising aspect of Ganesha's iconography is his vehicle. The mighty elephant-headed god rides upon a tiny mouse. This unlikely pairing contains one of the most important spiritual teachings in all of Hinduism. The mouse represents the ego, Small, quick, always searching for material satisfaction. The ego scurries around collecting experiences, possessions, recognition. It lives in constant anxiety, always worried about survival and status. Left unchecked, the ego mouse can cause tremendous damage. It can gnaw through the foundations of our peace and happiness. But see what happens when Ganesha rides the mouse. The ego is not destroyed. It is not rejected or suppressed. Instead, it is transformed into a vehicle for spiritual purposes. Under the guidance of higher wisdom, even our ego drives can serve spiritual growth. Our desire for recognition can motivate us to excel in devotional practices. Our need for security can lead us to seek refuge in divine grace. This is the genius of Ganesha's teaching. He shows us how to work with our psychological makeup rather than against it. How to harness even our less noble impulses for spiritual purposes. The traditional way to recite the Vakratunda mantra is quite simple. It can be chanted at any time, but it is especially powerful in the morning. Many devotees recite it before beginning any new project. Students chant it before examinations. Business owners invoke it before opening their shops. Some practitioners recite it 108 times using a mala or prayer beads. Others simply repeat it a few times with sincere devotion. The number of repetitions matters less than the quality of attention you bring to the practice. When chanting, try to visualize Ganesha's benevolent form. See his curved trunk raised in blessing. Feel his compassionate gaze removing all obstacles from your path. Allow his radiance to fill your heart with confidence and joy. Remember that this mantra works not through magic, but through the transformation of consciousness. As you regularly invoke Ganesha's presence, you begin to embody his qualities. You develop his wisdom, his ability to overcome challenges, his joyful approach to life. The obstacles don't disappear because of external intervention. They dissolve because you become the kind of person who naturally finds ways around difficulties. Tonight, as you rest, let these sacred syllables echo gently in your awareness. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha. Feel them creating a protective cocoon of grace around you. Know that the elephant-headed Lord watches over all who call upon him with sincere hearts. May Lord Ganesha remove every obstacle from your path and bless you with wisdom, prosperity, and new beginnings. May his divine light illuminate your journey and fill your life with joy and spiritual growth. Om Shri Ganesha Namah.